Welcome to the Sunday Gardener. Today we're looking at the Chelsea Chop, and it's called the Chelsea Chop because of when it's carried out in the year, which is around the time of the Chelsea Flower Show, which is late May. I'm actually doing this in June, and when you do it depends on your garden. If you garden somewhere very exposed, you might want to leave it until June. If you're gardening in the south, in a sheltered area, then you might be carrying out the Chelsea Chop much earlier. The purpose of it is to stop the plant back. It's actually pruning it back so that the plant becomes more bushy, it flowers a little later. It's particularly good for plants such as this catmint, Nepeta, because this is a plant that sprawls a lot late summer. So by pruning it back and making it more compact, you'll prevent it from swamping the plants that are around it. But it does make the plants bushy, and also you can prune some of it back so that some of the plant flowers early, some of it flowers later. Conventionally, the Chelsea Chop is either done by cutting the whole of the plant back, or cutting stems back to stagger the flowering, or perhaps cutting one back and leaving another one to flower earlier. It's really up to you for your garden what suits you. But the idea is that you prune it, taking the stems back. You can see, particularly the long stems, I'm cutting them back, and this will help to keep the plant much more compact and bushy, and it will have a lot, perhaps smaller and later flowers, but more flowers on it. So you work your way around. I'm going to cut the whole of this plant pretty well back, but as I said, you can do it in sections, or even just cutting back some stems and leaving others to go to the full length. Like all plants, if you prune it back, you will make it become more bushy. So now you can see I've reduced the height of this plant all the way across, trimmed it all down, cut a lot off, so don't be afraid to cut it. You can just take shears to it, there's no need to prune it, just shear it off, and you'll find that it will flower slightly later, but it will keep a more compact shape. It won't sprawl around the border so much. Chelsea Chop is suitable for a lot of summer flowering perennials, Achillea, Nepeta, a lot of the daisy type flowers, phlox. We're just going to have a look at a phlox now and show cutting that back, and we'll just take a look at that now. Okay, we were just looking at cutting back catmint, and I should say catmint is a really good plant to grow where you can't grow lavender. If you're on very wet ground, it will grow where lavender won't. The Chelsea Chop is suitable for a lot of the summer flowering perennials, and this is phlox, and it's ideal for this. It's good for any of the daisy type flowering perennials, and again what you're going to do is to cut it back. So be bold, take it back, and you're pruning off the growth point. So as you can imagine, what it will do then is bush, and it will be more compact. So this one's a bit straggly, so hopefully this will produce a better shape and better flowers later in the summer. So that's the Chelsea Chop. You can also use it in a slightly different way later in the summer, because there are some flowers, some plants that get very tatty, the foliage gets very tired. Lady's Mantle, the Achillea mollis, hardy geraniums, the whole foliage is really poor and looks unsightly, and you can just shear it to the ground in July after it's flowered, and although the plant won't flower again, it will produce a nice mound of new growth and new foliage, so it will look better for the rest of the summer. The point to bear in mind about the Chelsea Chop is that because you're taking off the growth point, the flower point, you are losing the flowers now, and you'll gain flowers later on in the summer when the plant's more bushy. Now some people don't like to do the Chelsea Chop because they want the flowers early in the garden, so it's a choice for you. You will get flowers, but you'll get them later. The other thing about the Chelsea Chop is you can use these prunings to make softwood cuttings, and that's very useful, particularly with, say, sedum that roots very easily. When you're Chelsea chopping it back, keep a few of the cuttings, pop them up into seed compost with a little bag or in a propagator to keep them moist, and you'll get new plants for free.